everyone, and welcome to our ZOI Education Open Day for the October intake. Wherever you are in the world, if you are watching with us live or even if you're watching the recording, we're really happy to have you and we're really looking forward to this event. So I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Lydia and I look after the digital marketing at ZOI Education, and so I organize these kinds of events and workshops. And I'm gonna start by simply introducing how the day is going to run. We'll first go on a tour of our campus, and unfortunately we are doing this event from our home, so we weren't able to visit the campus due to the current restrictions in Victoria. However, we have a little video that we have on YouTube, so I will be sharing my screen so that everyone can see that. And then after that, we're going to move on to Kerron. She is our PO and she will briefly introduce herself and a little bit about the college. After that, we're going to have a bit of an introduction of our training manager, Lydia, who will talk about herself, the role, the training department, and also a little bit about the courses. And then after that, we're going to hear some presentation from our 3 student ambassadors. So we recently started this new program, the Student Ambassador program, and 3 of our students have already joined in for the October intake. And they will be talking a little bit about themselves, where they are from, maybe why they decided to study early childhood education, and also a little bit of their experience with ZOI and maybe some advice for prospective students. And then after that, we're going to have some workshops and activities with some of our trainers, and a little bit of a book reading, which is really fun. We always like organizing these kinds of book reading sessions. In fact, you can actually check our book reading sessions on our YouTube channel. And as usual, if you have any questions about anything that we mentioned at the end, there's going to be a Q&A session.
Welcome to ZOI Education. Located in the heart of Parkville, within the Royal Park, our campus is only 15 minutes away from the Melbourne CBD by public transport. Surrounded by gardens filled with beautiful native flora and animals, we are in the Royal Children's Hospital complex. Let's go inside. Here is our foyer, and these paintings are made by the little children of the Bambini Early Learning Centres, our business partners and sister company. On arriving in our campus, you will be met by a homely atmosphere. And, of course, our friendly staff. There are 3 classrooms which can be merged into a larger space by opening the walls between them. All classrooms have their own TV, and there is plenty of natural light and greenery to boost students' mood. We also have several resources available, including soft toys, children's books, and dolls. Here are our trainers, teaching us how to read stories to toddlers and children. More resources and toys. And some student activities. Do you love children and learning? Then come join us. We'll be waiting for you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kerron Daffy. I'm the Principal Executive Officer, the PEO of ZOI Education. Very proud one, because I'm very proud of my team and all my gorgeous students. We are based, as Ilaria just said, at the Royal Children's Hospital complex and in the middle of beautiful Royal Park. in lovely classrooms with great facilities. Our training team has a wealth of knowledge and experience. They have, and I don't know whether they'll like me saying this, over 150 years combined of knowledge and experience in this industry. And I know myself, I've been in this industry, I've been in the training industry for well over 10 years and in the early childhood industry for well over 30 years. I'm not going to elaborate on that because you might be good at maths and work out how old I am. But we teach the Cert 3 and the Diploma in Early Childhood Education and Care face-to-face normally. However, because of the Stage 4 restrictions, we are doing that at the moment via distance learning. We have one of the best work placement in any course anywhere, and a lot of our students will be able to attest to that. One of the great things about our work placement is the number of hours that students do in work placement, because that makes them very employable. I was a director of an early childhood service for a long time, and in that time when I employed people, I always looked at the work placement hours that they had done, and the more work placement hours you had, the more likely you were of getting that job at my service. And I know a lot of my colleagues are exactly the same, because that's where all the teaching that we give you makes sense. You get to put it into practice and it all makes sense and it becomes real, and it's very, very valuable.
My name is Lydia and I am the training manager at ZOI Education. As Kerron was saying, very proud one, because the team of trainers that I oversee and I lead and, you know, inspire me every day, because they are amazing. They are so supportive to our students. They have many, many years of experiences as being a trainers, as well as working in early childhood industry. So I'm quite sure that through my accent you can figure it out that English is my second language. Again, I'm very proud of my heritage and that English is my second language. I arrived to Australia 33 years ago and started pretty much from scratch. Never spoke or never learned English in my previous time before coming to Australia. So why am I saying that? Just to give you a little bit of reassurance that I used to walk in your shoes. I know exactly what you're experiencing and what how hard it is to learn a course in a language that is not your first language. So saying that again, I'm very passionate about that and supporting our students and giving them that, you know, knowledge, that understanding, holding your hand to be able to become a very much qualified and employable educator. The reason why I became a trainer was to advocate for little children and to make sure that the students that we are training and that I'm training are ethical, and they do look after and educate younger generation. So at least to make that difference in the industry, and that's what I can say, you know, that our training team is doing exactly the same. So what Kerron was saying, we do provide Certificate 3 and Diploma of Early Childhood Education and Care, and through our courses you will be experiencing a lot of theory training as well as having fun, because in Australia we do follow the learning framework, and we do believe that children learn while they're playing. So there will be a lot of fun, there will be a lot of activities that what you're going to experience today, what Valentina, Suzanne and Laura will show you. Welcome to ZOI Education, everyone.
I'm Nozomi from Japan. Why I started to learn early childhood education is I was actually a dietitian in my country, and I work for like health company or child care center, aged care center. Then I realized how much early childhood affect our whole life. So that's why I started to run. And I came to Australia, and why I choose ZOI is, to be honest, one of the reasons was placement, as Kerron said. But unfortunately now we are not allowed to go. But still I'm very happy to stay in ZOI because now we have online class, and which is really great. I don't have much problem with this because teachers are always very helpful when I ask something. They give me lots of advice, so I'm really thankful for this. So anyway, I would like to talk about my favorite subject. This is diversity. I think it's very Australian. And I've learned having self-esteem is very important to our health. And how we get good self-esteem is related to diversity. Diversity is not just about learning about other culture. It is also about learning about ourselves, who we are, who you are. Everyone is different. Like whether you speak Japanese or English, whether you are a quiet person or loud person, whether your skin is black or white, I think you are the only one person. So you can have confidence no matter who you are. After I learned about this, I got confidence myself. So I think that's why I'm doing Student Ambassador. I couldn't have imagined I'm doing this 1 year ago. From my advice, probably to be a ZOI Education student, don't hesitate to ask, and having confidence is very important.
My name is Megumi. I'm from Japan as well. I've been here for almost 1 year now. And I was actually teaching English to children in Japan from 0 to 15 years old, as well as managing school. And it was such a great experience for me to teach English to children. And they're so lovely and very sincere. And I always love to come to Australia. I was actually in Australia 10 years ago to study English. And I always wanted to come back because Australia is such a diverse country. And I always wanted to know how what kind of education they have. So I decided to save money and I came back. And I chose ZOI because ZOI provides lots of work placement. And I think the hands-on practice comes so in handy when you actually work in a service. And it's so beneficial. So, and also the ZOI is specialized in ECEC, early childhood education and care, and which is a very strong point. That's what I felt. And in my agency, they also they recommend me. The ZOI is a very good school as well. So, and I'm so happy to be here now. I think the best thing about studying ECEC is that you can be so creative, as we always think out of box. You need to think about what's the best for the children and what's the experience plan we need to do for the best. And also, you will have chance to see children's development and learning firsthand as they grow. And I think it's a so great thing. I'm so lucky to be there to have a chance. And then you can also make a difference in their lives. That's what I felt. Through my study, through my experience, I felt we can have a great impact on their lives, and that's a very big role for us. But I love that. I love to be the one to be the facilitator to help children, and also I think that the most difficult thing was to do the placement, to do both placement and work at the same time. Because it was pretty hard to do the placement. I think it's also exhausting for the first time for me. But I think it's also very important to balance them out, work your personal stuff and then also the study. But there's nothing better than seeing children smile when they achieve something or when they learn new stuff. So I was happy all the time. So it's very worth it. If you want to learn the best practice and then by the wonderful trainer, I think ZOI would be the place. So I hope you will join ZOI and then study with us. It's
Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about myself and to share my experience about ZOI. My name is Prashanna. I'm 22 years old. I was born and raised in Malaysia, and it's been 1.5 years I'm staying in Australia. I would love to share about my experience in ZOI. To be honest, first of all, I was very anxious about pursuing studies in Australia. This is because English is my second language and I didn't know anything about Australian culture. But when I came to ZOI, I realized that this is the right place for me to pursue diploma in early childhood education. This is because they are very caring, they are very helpful, and when you need anything, they are always there to support you. For instance, if the student needs emotional support, if they need financial support, if they need academic support, they are always there to give their best. And then the best thing about studying ECEC is you get the opportunity to empower and shape the future of younger generation and the upcoming generation as well. A piece of advice for the prospective students: if you guys are hesitate about or worried about how you guys are going to stay alone in Melbourne, how you guys are going to access public transport, how you guys are going to survive alone in Melbourne, don't worry, we are here to support you guys. And that's all. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Suzanne and I'm one of the trainers here at ZOI. Just quickly, a quick summary of what I did before. I worked in early childhood. I obtained my certificate, then my diploma, and then later I received my degree and did a whole lot of other wonderful education as I was going along. And I worked in childcare centres, long daycare centres, family daycare services. I was part of the regulatory body, the NCAC. So I did lots and lots of things in my long career. I'm not even going to tell you how long that's been. I have 4 children, and the reason why I got into childcare at the time was because I couldn't find decent childcare back 28 years ago. There wasn't any decent childcare centres. And nothing that mirrored my culture, my beliefs and so on. So that's why I got into childcare. I thought there has to be a better way, and what an incredible journey that I've had since I made that decision. So today I'll be talking about communicating with toddlers, and particularly non-verbal communication with toddlers and how important that is. Non-verbal communication is so important with young children because it boosts emotional connections with the child that you're working with. So most children love being hugged and kissed, as an example, and so do we. How much do you enjoy being hugged by somebody that you love? It's a wonderful feeling. So children are exactly the same. When you give a child a hug, you're telling them what? You're telling them that they're safe with you, that they're cherished with you, that they're valued with you. So a hug tells you so much more than just simply a, hey, you're okay, kid. It makes this wonderful connection. So the non-verbal communication is important for strengthening the verbal messages that you're trying to do with these young children. Okay, you're giving them that sense of safety, that sense of value, and all those sorts of things that go along with it. So when we're talking with young children, and it really doesn't matter whether you're talking with the newborn babies, and it's really important to speak to newborn babies, right up to the children that go off to school, you're always speaking to young children. And when we're speaking to young children, we're telling them how much, again, we value them. and listening to them. That's really important again. So getting down to their level, eye-to-eye contact is really important. Again, you're telling that child that they are valued. Using your body language and the tone of voice is really important again. So touching, so when you're talking to a young child, you're touching, you might be holding their hand just to get their attention. You're looking directly into their eyes. Again, that's body language. You're telling them that you're listening to what they're saying and you're asking them to listen to you. And again, that goes from, the newborn babies right up to 5-year-olds. It's not just the toddlers. Getting down onto their level so that you can talk to them eye to eye. There's nothing worse than for the child's trying to get your attention, look at me, and you're up here somewhere looking somewhere else. So get down to their level, look into their eyes, say to them, yes, I'm listening to you, and actually listening to what they've got to say and responding appropriately. Your tone of voice obviously is another one. So you've got to be talking to them in a calm, gentle way rather than an angry voice. So this is just very, very basic ways to communicate with young children. But finally, I like to say building a strong relationship really just simply starts with a smile. And smiling is the first building block of a warm, loving, responsive relationship with young children. And these relationships, when you're building these relationships with your child, you're developing all sorts of wonderful things. You're understanding where they're coming from. You're communicating with them different types of emotions. You're showing them respect. Again, a smile just goes such a long way. It fosters bonding and attachment. So the signs of smiling actually, it's been shown with many different types of research that simply smiling helps a child calm down with also from wherever they, whether they were frustrated about something or worried about something, or just welcome them into an environment. That smile just helps them feel good about themselves and about the environment that they're in. So a smile goes such a long, long way. So no smile is wasted. So smiles are very important, early positive experiences, and smiles teach your child a lot about themselves, about the world, and that goes beyond the words or the language. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Valentina. I'm another trainer at ZOI Education, and very much I would like to reiterate what Lydia, our training manager, said, that I'm also somebody who came to Australia about 27 years ago, and I had to start from the beginning. Although with some qualifications from overseas, I had to start, to redo my qualifications because I came from a very different political system. And to be honest with you, this is the best place. I've worked in many different countries, but here in Australia is the best place, the best experiences, the best memories that I've ever had, that I felt the most appreciated, that I felt the most valuable. And I felt that, my knowledge, expertise, and, previous experiences are strongly valued. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be working at ZOI, and so happy to be working with international students, because I feel, again, that I can offer a lot, because I very much understand what it is to be an international student, what it means to be a beginner in this country and in this industry. So I'm very happy that I can share my previous experiences, and I can share my, my knowledge to the future educators in the early childhood. So today I just wanted to show you a couple of experiences that normally, or most of the time, you will find being present in early childhood settings in Australia. And probably very common ones are the jigsaw puzzles of different shapes, different sizes. And I just wanted to show you why puzzles are looking different, and why do we allow children to, utilize puzzles, and what is the importance of having jigsaw puzzles in early childhood. So, as we all know, having a jigsaw puzzle is not something that it's only that the children will have to do to fit the puzzles in particular pieces. It's more than that. Through jigsaw puzzles, through working and coming up with the ideas, children are learning mathematical concepts. Children are learning shapes, sizes. Children are practicing their fine motor skills, trying to work it out what piece fits where. Children are thinking, they're utilizing their cognitive skills, thinking that children are collaborating, using their language. So, these type of experiences, it's not impacting only one area of development. In fact, the jigsaw puzzles are working to practice multiple domains of development. So like I said, cognitive, social, and emotional development, language, and practicing at the same time social skills. So for example, what are the suitable jigsaw puzzles for young children? This is one jigsaw puzzle that could be utilized with younger children, probably with young toddlers. As you can see, the shapes and the pieces are quite large. Okay, so because of the children between the 0 to 2 years old, according to Piaget, they're utilizing fine motor skills and they're grasping larger objects. So utilizing puzzles like these with the larger objects is helping them to practice these fine motor skills. But also finding correlation between these pieces, it's very, very important. So at the younger age, they can manipulate, they can move, they can try and test different shapes if they fit together. And we can also at the same time support them in this learning and this knowledge. As the children's fine motor skills start to improve, we have different types of puzzles. So for example, jigsaw puzzles that have knobs or little pieces that the children can hold on. Here, it's easier for the child to remove the piece and also manipulate it and practice to put it back into the tray. So this is pretty much the next stage of development. And what happens as the children continue to grow and practice their fine motor skills? It would be a combination of both. They might have knob and they fit in the tray, but also at the same time, they can practice slotted puzzles, or they can practice puzzles that fit in together in a little tray, so in the pieces like this. So that is the next step of their development. And also understanding not just fitting in pieces in a shape, but also fitting pieces to create a particular picture is the next stage of development. So combination of both these puzzles, it shows us a transition between the knob puzzles to a picture puzzle and eventually moving to a larger size puzzles. So for example, what do I have here? So this is the bigger jigsaw puzzle, and you can see the pictures are quite simple. They're representing fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are the most common items that the children will learn and understand and learn to name. For example, the child will understand that this is an apple, this is a banana, a pear, or lemon, whatever it is. They're starting to understand the correlation of the fruits. They start to understand, in order to create a picture, the pieces of the jigsaw, they need to match for that picture to represent something. This could be considered a jigsaw puzzle that is suitable for the 4 to 5-year-old children, because you can see this combination, multitude of colors, multitude of the shapes, but created to fit in a particular puzzle. So for example, this jigsaw puzzle can be fitted in many different ways. So the structurally can be redone in a very different creative way. And the children can combine the aspects of this jigsaw puzzle according to their own interest. So this puzzle can be done in, 50 different ways. So it allows a lot of freedom. It allows for a lot of options for this jigsaw puzzle for the children to express their creativity, for them to express their thinking skills, hypothesizing, mathematical concepts, matching, addition. So they're moving on to that next stage of cognitive development, like Piaget described as pre-operational stage. So in this stage, children are not just relying on their, physical social skills, but they're starting to utilize multitude of skills. They're starting to utilize thinking skills that are much more refined than when the children are between 0 to 2 years old. In our services in Australia, we tend to utilize, for example, puppets. So, for example, role-playing, dramatic play, and engagement language will be very useful to work with children utilizing the puppets, hand puppets, finger puppets. For example, here I have little kookaburra, I have a kangaroo or koala, always the favorite for the children, native Australian animals. Another option, another setup would be experiences for children that, for example, interest for bugs, interest for insects, and we usually make sure that the experiences for children are presented in an attractive, visual, beautiful way to engage the children, to make them again to think, that we can add different ideas, and pretty much how we can present it in the best possible way that we attract the children to come and manipulate. So the experiences can be presented beautifully, but they need to allow the options for children to be open-ended and to be modified and to be manipulated by them in their own way. In fact, we are encouraging the children to present, to work, and to utilize those experiences entirely on their own. So that's what it's called, open-ended experiences. And we are allowing the children to stay as long as they want to stay in the experience, or as short as they want to stay, and revisit the experiences on multiple occasions. I've created a little bit of a scenery here with little dolls and puppets. It has been used in my work when I work with 3 to 5-year-old children, and this was always very favorite experience. So adding little props like gems, little multicultural dolls, stones, plants, real or even plastic plants, creating a little scarf that could represent a water or could represent a clothing and so on. And what we have here, pretty much we have the story, a finger puppet theater. We have the 3 little pigs, one of the favorite stories. And what we're using here is just a simple finger puppets. The stories can be retold in a many different ways. So rather than the children using, as the educators, we can utilize these finger puppets and we can still tell the story. We can still sing the story and we can modify it in any possible way. This is only a short snippet of the experiences that we might be able to see in the early childhood industry. And as part of this course, we actually support the students. We support the future educators in Australia to create, to design these experiences based on observation, the interest, on the individual need, on the individual differences and the differences of the group. Thank you very much for being present. Thank you for listening to this short presentation. And if you like, you're more than welcome to come and join us at ZOI, because there's a lot of things we can learn. There's a lot of things we can practice, and we can learn from each other. Thank you.
My name's Laura, and I've been in the industry 25 or so years, probably longer than I want to remember sometimes. But from the start of my career, I actually started out as I'm from country Victoria, so we really only had kindergartens or schools. We never had childcare centres back then. So I actually started my career as an assistant kindergarten teacher, and it was by far and still one of my most treasured memories that I have of working in the industry. I was fortunate enough to work with the most wonderful kinder teacher in the world, and she taught me so much in the 2.5 years that I worked with her. But I was also fortunate enough to work in a country kindergarten where we had a farmyard attached. So we would be feeding the cows and the chickens, and the horses would wander down, and the children would be going out and playing with all the farm animals. So it was just such a wonderful experience, and really some of the most treasured memories I have. Moving to Melbourne showed me different ways of educating children and ways that we can influence and just relax with them, be friendly, be fun, and that's what it's all about. So over my career and working in several different services as educator, as well as educational leader, director, assistant director. I was always the fun one. Everybody who would come and work in my room would say, "Oh my God, you do such strange things." But children need to experience things. If we have a mud pit and we don't put water in it, what's the point of having it? So I would put water in the mud pit. And the educators would go, "No, they're going to get all muddy." Who cares? Wash them up, change them, they'll be right. So part of our industry is about that, not to be scared. Children are there to learn and experience things. Messy play, story time, group time, arts and crafts, cutting their own food, serving their own food. It's all about building that little child up to be who they're going to be. And that's why I love our industry so much. What I'm going to talk to you today about is story time. Now, in our industry, we have group times. We have small group times where you might have one-on-one with the child. You could have 5 children, and then you could end up with 26 children in a group time. And it's all about engaging those children. It's about making it fun and interesting. Because with babies and toddlers, you have a 2 to 6 minute window to grab their attention. That's all you're going to have. So you need to make it fun and fast and grab that attention. But with our pre-kinder and kinder children, you can have their attention for 15 to 20 minutes. So we need to keep them involved, to keep it fun, change our voices, and just be fun with them. Don't be scared. Children don't care what your voice is. They don't care how silly you are. They just love it when you are involved with them. And that's what it's all about. A statistic that came out this year actually said that by the age of 8, an average Australian child should have had between 500 and 600 nursery rhymes and stories read to them. I think that's amazing, because from stories, we learn about language and communication, colours, shapes, foods, cultures. We learn about social balance. So we learn how to interact with each other. It teaches us how to build self-esteem, how to be nice to other people. It teaches us nice language. We know that technology nowadays influences young children far too much. So by reading a story and cutting it back to basics teaches them the niceties of our world. And sometimes I think that's what we need. We need to remember that in the whole scheme of the world, these children are brand new. They're babies in our world, and we need to be teaching them from that stage. With our story times, particularly the one I'm going to do today is Incy, Wincy, Spider. So we know traditionally that's a nursery rhyme that we do as a hand song. Babies and toddlers, we will do that as a small group time song with them. But then people have gone out there and they've created books to continue that learning for the older children. So from Incy, Wincy, Spider, the nursery rhyme, we have the storybook. And from that storybook, we can then extend on that experience. We can extend it into an art and craft where they make a spider. We can extend it into a science experiment where we do the water flow and they can see how water flows. So we can extend on the children's learning from a nursery rhyme to a storybook, arts and crafts and science so easily. And it's not a huge issue for us as educators in our system because it keeps the children interested and it helps us as well to be more interactive. Here we go. We have Incy, Wincy, Spider. And this is by a lady called Kate Toms. And she actually has released a whole bunch of nursery rhymes turned into books. So we have the Incy, Wincy, Spider. The Incy, Wincy, Spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed little Incy out. Out came the sunshine and dried up all the rain. So Incy, Wincy, Spider went up the spout again. And little Incy down here goes, "Oh, here we go again." But why does Incy climb up the spout? In case you were in any doubt. Because he spun his web up high so he can see the world go by. It's easy dropping to the floor, but climbing up again is quite a chore. Incy, Wincy, Spider doesn't like the rain. He's got his swimming goggles on. He won't get caught again. But just as he starts climbing up that water spout, another shower of rain falls down and washes Incy out. He's come back down the spout again. Uh-oh. Now Incy's trying once again. Umbrella at the ready. The rain won't beat him this time if he takes it nice and steady. There has to be another way to get home on a rainy day. Oh, he's trying to go up the spout again. Poor Incy. Looking round, what's Incy seen? A round and bouncy trampoline. He found a way to get home fast that bounces high and flies straight past. Woo! Over he goes. Over the hedge, over the wall, a stripy tent breaks his fall. Looking puzzled, Incy thinks. He rubs his hairy head and blinks. Where am I now? The washing's out, the weather's fine. Incy wobbles on the line, when suddenly a breezy breeze blows Incy into nearby trees. Through the leaves, Incy spies several pairs of beady eyes. But worse than that, Incy squeals a row of long pointy beaks. And we know that birds like to eat spiders. Oh no. Incy running, quite puffed out, but in the distance he sees his spout. It's the best idea he's had all day. He'll climb the spout another way. The rain comes inside the spout, so he'll climb up, not in, but out. Oh, he's a clever little spider, this one. Back into his web, he's happy now. It's easy when you work out how. The lesson learned, then try again, and don't be put off by the rain. Home at last, little Incy is saying. So Incy Wincy Spider, he climbed the water spout, and even when the rain poured down, it can't wash Incy out. For Incy Wincy Spider, he found another way, and now it's easy peasy to climb that spout all day. Here we go. So that's Incy Wincy Spider. And from that one book, we have a nursery rhyme, we have a story, we could do arts and crafts, we could do science experiments. Each day in our industry is different. So every day, we could have a bad day today where something just doesn't quite go right. We'll go back in tomorrow and it'll be amazing. So keep that in mind when you come into our industry. Come and visit us at ZOI. We have so much knowledge and love and passion for our industry. So that's me, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to everyone who is watching. If you are watching the recording and you wanted to ask any questions, feel free to contact us on our social media or through our website, and we will make sure to get back to you.